Hello and welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Today we're going to take a look at the Overcut feature in Silhouette Studio.
All right, today we're talking about the Overcut feature for words and sentiment dies that you're cutting with your digital cutting machine, especially in Silhouette Studio. I'm in the basic edition of Silhouette Studio. It now allows you to switch if you have multiple editions, like if I've got the business edition, so I'm able to switch back to the standard edition so that I'm able to show you what it looks like if this is the version that you have, and this won't change throughout any of the versions. One thing that always bugged me when I first started cutting with my machine was that it did not give good results when I was trying to cut word dies. And I really like different fonts on everything. I love fonts. They're just absolutely beautiful. And don't get me wrong, I love my die cut words that I use that are metal dies that I cut with my manual die cutting machine with the crank on it. However, they're expensive. I love them, but they're expensive. And I get a word die that says thank you, and sometimes they cost $8, sometimes they're upwards of $15. I can make my own in Silhouette Studio with the fonts that I have downloaded. And yes, the machine is expensive. The software is, the basic edition software it comes with the machine, but I'm still able to make my own in a million different ways. So I really like that, having this option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make it about 5 inches wide. And of course, if you are doing like a scrapbook page or something, you can make this a little bit bigger for your scrapbook page, or you can make it any size you want. That's the amazing thing about it. You can make this to fit on the front of a card. You can make it to fit on a scrapbook page. You can make it to fit on another paper project. That's one thing that I really love about this. So when you type it out, right now, it's still as a font. It's still words. It's still text. But we need to make it an image to be able to cut this. So we're going to make this a compound path. And now if I double click on it, it's actually an image file. It's no longer a font text box. It's now an image file because I can edit the points on this. So I could move this point up here if I wanted to and make that H really weird looking. But we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on cutting this today. So I'm going to slide this down my paper because I have been cutting on the sheet of paper that I have on my mat. And I just have a regular mat, and I have 80-pound Nina Solar white cardstock on it. So I slid this down so that it would be out of the way. And I am going to cut this using just the basic settings. So I have a cut file here, and I'm going to make sure that my material is set to 80-pound heavyweight cardstock, and I'm cutting with my auto blade. Now, the other thing that I want to point out is that with sentiments and heavy cardstock, sometimes it doesn't cut all the way through on the first pass. You can either change your blade depth or add speed to it, or whatever you figure out for your machine. What I have figured out for mine, because everyone's a little bit different, is that I need to do 2 passes and I need to have overcut on. What is overcut? Overcut goes, instead of, if you don't have overcut on, this is what happens. The blade will go into this corner here and just turn to do this curve. But when you have overcut on, the blade goes in a teeny tiny amount that you can't even see with the naked eye, picks up the blade, turns it, and then goes down the curve. And it does that at all of the corners. And that's important to get a clean cut with your word dies. So we're going to turn overcut on. And I'm going to do 2 passes on it. So I make sure that all of my edges are released all the way around with a heavyweight cardstock that's 80 pounds. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send this to the machine itself. and it gets really loud because it's sitting right beside me. So I'm going to turn the video off, and I'll see. Now we're going to take a look real quick and how easy this is going to come out, because it has cut all the way through, and we've used the overcut feature in all of the letters, so nothing's going to stick. So instead of trying to pull up the letters this way, because they are going to curl up, this is the release paper that's on the mat itself, and I'm going to use my tool-in-one, and I'm going to gently pull my letters out. And I'm rolling my mat back instead of you hear the letters popping out there. I'm rolling my mat back instead of rolling the letters out and pulling them and causing them to curl. And this is a really delicate little font, and that's one reason I chose it, is because it is so delicate. And to me, doing it this way takes just the same amount of time as it does to die cut by hand those letters on a manual machine. Oops, I'm pulling up the paper and not the die cut. My H doesn't want to come out. It's happy in there. Oh. This takes just as much time as it does to you can also just do it like this and then pop it out. So I'll show you a couple different ways here. But roll the mat instead of the paper and you won't have that curling problem. And get my paper flatter. There we go. Now all we have to do is pop those letters out. That H is a happy little home there. There we go. D just falls right on out. There we go. And the S is already out. It's under the paper there. Ta-da! Now see, this is what happens when I didn't do the overcut and I didn't cut twice. That's what happens. So it's all in your cut settings as to how well this is going to cut. So you have your beach days. See if I can get my little fingers in there. And everything comes out just like it should. No, I bent my H a little bit. Bummer. That's why you cut 3. And stack those bad boys up. And I just wanted you to see this does work. And then we are going to make a card. Ta-da! And just like with any die cut, you can kind of look and see which side is the right side and which side is the wrong side. Well, that just doesn't want to pick up. There we go. So there we have it. And let me pick this up, and so you can see how clean those letters are. Now, here's an example of, this is a thicker font, but it's not clean. Look at the fuzzies on all of those where all the corners are. I didn't use Overcut, and I did not cut it twice. So that's where the cut settings come into play big time when you are cutting your sentiments and word dies. So let's go ahead and make something, and I will see you in a minute.